Hello everybody, Sawyer here, and I'm here with a review for a indie published book called The World of Tomorrow. Yes, it's kind of a generic title, I will give it that, but I was actually pleasantly surprised by this book. So, I was contacted by the people behind this book over at Uncharted Wilderness Studios, and they asked me to review this book. So I did. I decided I would go ahead and review it, basically because of the images that they've sent some cover images and some panels, and it looked really nice. The art was really clean and crisp and very very kind of colorful. I like a lot of the really exaggerated face images and stuff on the characters. It just seemed like my kind of art style. So I decided to go ahead and go through this. At first, I had this preconceived notion that this was going to be like a high fantasy sci-fi kind of story, but it really wasn't. It was actually more of a emotional, realistic, story of the 1950s Hollywood, and just like a character arc kind of thing. Because it's actually not about space travel. It's about a TV show about space travel. So I didn't catch that at first until I started reading into the issue, which was cool because the issue starts off being a kind of a mockumentary style, not mockumentary, but kind of a like a joke style of Star Trek. They even start with the opening narration that Star Trek always had, but they change it up a little bit and make it a little more silly and corny. And it starts off with this very like classic black and white looking TV screen images. The panels are basically shaped like TV screens, and it's showing you like scenes from the show, and the aliens are attacking. They're taking over the ship. They have this bomb, and it says, whatever the alien's name is, Death Bomb, and it's like written like in pencil mark, and it's on a piece of paper that's stuck on the bomb. So it was kind of had this very homemade kind of silliness charm to it already. And all the characters are like just acting like very generic cardboard cutout versions of like Star Trek characters, but that's okay in this book because that's what the book is trying to do. It's trying to be a comedy, commentary on Star Trek or just sci-fi shows from that era in general. And essentially it's a story of the lead actor and how he's got a drinking problem, and he's kind of in denial about his show being canceled. Like, he's the only one not realizing that the show is being canceled, and everybody else on the cast and crew knows it. They feel it coming, and he's just kind of like living this blissful ignorance of a life. And it's really interesting. Like, it's really interesting seeing this guy as he gets more and more, and realizing the truth around how his kind of sad, pathetic life, and realizing just how lonely he is, and how much he doesn't really matter in the grand scope of things. It's really, really interesting. I thought that was the best part of the story for me. I really did enjoy the art. It was very dynamic, lots of fun action sequences, especially whenever they're doing like the show, like showing the show, and and I like the idea of the crew. The crew's kind of interesting. They even got like a little dog. It looks like a German Shepherd or something. Oh, I don't know dogs very well, but it's some kind of dog, and it's sitting there, and he's talking. His name is like Lieutenant Shaggles or something like that. It's very silly. It's just a silly crew, and just making fun of all the kind of classic tropes of these kind of sci-fi shows. But in reality, like, it was weird because this book was advertised to me as a comedy, but I didn't really laugh that much, and I didn't really feel like over a comedy kind of vibe from this. I mean, yeah, there's some things that you could take away as being funny and jokey and stuff, but I didn't think this book was really. I wouldn't advertise this book as a comedy. I was thinking, to me, it kind of came off more as a drama, and as a kind of a commentary on Hollywood and you know stardom and all that. And I think it works great like that. So I was just a little kind of mixed on that. But yeah, I think this book is actually very good in terms of like a story, like a personal story about this guy who's who likes being in the spotlight. He likes people looking up to him as a hero. Like, there's a part where he meets this kid and on the street, and the kid's like really proud of him for being a super. but the kid has an abusive dad that's drunk all the time, and the main character tries to intervene, and he gets his ass kicked, and the kid just loses all respect for the guy because his hero got beat down by his dad or whatever. And it's one of those, and that part in particular really kind of got me. I was like, man, this is some real stuff going on here, and I really enjoyed that. You know, that aspect of the story. You know, like this guy is just on the bottom of the barrel per se. The book mostly focuses on Craig, who's the star of the show. He's kind of basically like a William Shatner kind of character if William Shatner was just a total, you know, wash up back in the early days of his career. So, and there's a couple other characters we kind of focus on a little bit. We focus on Johnny Redshirt a little bit at the beginning, which yeah, I know is a character named Johnny Redshirt, and yeah, that was kind of funny. Like I liked that part. That was kind of a self-aware kind of a joke at the whole Star Trek kind of you know, mythos. The book has a pretty surprising ending. It's pretty interesting. I like the way where it was all going. It's kind of sudden though, and it just kind of ends. And I'm really interested to see like what happens next. You know, very intrigued actually. It's definitely a cliffhanger, you know, kind of ending. In closing, I actually really enjoyed this book. I thought the art was really good. I like the storytelling is pretty solid. The dialogue is good for the most part. There's a couple characters like Craig himself that kind of comes off as kind of stupid in some scenes, but it makes sense for his character because he's kind of like just living this dream world at half time. So it does make sense that he would be not the first to catch on to things. So yeah, but yeah, I really did enjoy the book. I definitely recommend it. This company is doing a Kickstarter right now to raise money for their first, you know, their first issue and all that. So I'll put a link down below if you want to jump into that and help them out, support them. I think it's a really cool project, and I'm interested to see where it goes from here. And there's not enough of these kind of Hollywood 1950s, you know, commentary stories out there, especially in comic book form. So definitely help them out, guys. Check out. I'll put a link to the Instagram page too, so you can check that out. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. You know, appreciate everything you guys do for the channel, and like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if you think what you think about this story. If you think this is an interesting comic that you'd want to get into.